Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of the RC Lounge podcast. And tonight, man, we got a treat. We got a awesome young man, racer, entrepreneur, hard worker, family man, all the above. Hey, we just got a treat for y'all tonight. So y'all just sit back, and enjoy another awesome episode of the RC Lounge podcast with your boy EKJ 24,000. And yeah, man, let me go ahead on and bring my partner on up in here again. Let's bring on the good man himself, Mr. Jimmy Woodley from Ignite Design RC. Welcome, 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 Mr. Woodley. Hey, 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 Mr. Woodley. Welcome, Mr. Woodley.
Man, the
Hey,
soundboard, perfect.
yes, sir, man. Yeah, that's how we do it over here, man. But yeah, hey, man, welcome to the RC Lounge podcast, man. And I appreciate you taking time out. I know it's kind of hectic week going, finna go into get into that Turkey Day, and but it's kind of still a good time because racing kind of simmering down just a little bit too. So but yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you, bro, stopping by the lounge, man, and just jumping in for a little chat. And hey, let's do this. Let's do this.
Yeah. Thanks for
So yeah,
having me.
yeah, no problem, man. So yeah, me and Jimmy met um earlier this year down in Flowood, Saratoga at Bring the Heat, and we just talked about how he got started in it and how he went from racing to entrepreneurship, and we just said, well, man, we need to hook up and do a podcast and just talk and just chat. So we here, we here. So yeah, Jimmy, just tell everybody where you're from, man, and how you got started in RC.
I'm originally from Illinois, but I've been living here in Crestview, Florida for it'll be 10 years in March.
Okay.
Um, I got into RC really young age. My parents, they owned a flower shop, and it was right
Yeah.
next door, shared basically a strip mall with a hobby shop. It's actually a hobby shop and a pet store all in one. It was a Pet and Hobby World.
Pet and Hobby
And
World. Okay.
yep. And my
Okay.
brother got I think for his birthday or Christmas one year got a low C LXT or something like that. I think it was secondhand that the
Yeah.
shop owner had up there on consignment or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'll never forget. He's so of course it's a purpose built race car, but he's out there running it up in
Down
the
the street.
yard and everything, ripping
That's
wheelies and stuff because it was
right, man.
pretty sure it
Hey,
was mod, not stock.
that's what's up, man. Like I said, my second question for you was yeah, what was your first, your personal first RC car? Before that, like, where did you really learn about and hear about RC? Like,
Um, I had like some secondhand stuff, but my
yeah.
very first like brand new RC car is actually hanging up on the wall behind me. My
Okay.
mom went. I got really good grades, and she took me down to that same hobby shop and
Yeah.
bought me a RC10 GT ready to run.
Okay.
I was
RC10.
probably about 12 years old at that point. still, still have it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like I said, my first car myself, my first car was like that Tyco Lobo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With that, yeah,
Yep.
that Walmart brand. Well, it was more. I think we got those at. You remember that store back in the day called Sears and Roebuck?
Oh
Sears.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
they had the Tyco stuff. Then from Tyco, I did Radio Shack was like that golden
Yep.
era, and then
Yes,
from there,
sir.
that's yeah. After that golden era, then that's when I got my first car was really like race grade car was the really a HB Truggy, the Truggy for HB. Yeah,
That's a hell of
I know, man. I
a
ain't
way to get
not.
started racing.
Yeah, because before then, before I got that truck, I had got an HPI MT race. It's like a 10 scale 4-wheel drive truck. You know how y'all build a 2-wheel drive trucks, but this is
Yeah,
built
you talking about the
4-wheel drive.
nitro one?
Yeah, the nitro one. That was my very first one, and that's what how I got going in it and had to learn it. Yeah,
Something like that.
yeah, yeah. It's exactly like that, but it's the because that one came out after mine. Mine
This
was
was
the yeah,
this was
mine was
later.
yeah, mine was the racer version. It was a kit. You know what I'm saying? I had to put it together my
Yeah.
first time. Yeah, man. So I had all the bumps and bruises to learn. You go through whatever, but I did it. And like I said, after that kit, then I got my HB Truggy, my first race kit, and just learned from there. So your first kit, what was it? That RC10? Did you really did you have to put it together, or was it come
No,
already
that one was a ready to run.
ready to run? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but I it I worked on it way more than I ever drove it. So it may as well
It may have
have been
been the
a
first
kit.
one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, bro. So after you got your RC10 and working on it and stuff, so uh, how was the experience? Just learning how to wrench, first time and just going through that process. How did you figure it out?
Uh, I guess pretty much just self taught. I mean, back then there was
Yeah.
no YouTube or Facebook or
Mm-hmm.
this was I got that thing probably 6 years before YouTube came out. So that was back when it actually came with a VHS tape
Right.
inside the box. It had Cliff Lett and one of the other big names was associated back then. They had recorded and put in a VHS tape to kind of
Uh-huh.
get you started on like how to tune it and things to look out for and stuff. Back then, the stuff really came with a lot of documentation because it kind of had to. Nowadays, like with our conversions,
Yeah.
if depending on what my ink level is in my printer, sometimes I'll print off a manual to go on the box, but you just pull up the website. But I was just little 12-year-old Jimmy sitting there taking his RC10 GT apart and putting it back together with the exploded view is really kind of how I cut my teeth. I mean, I mentioned that to customers quite a bit
Yeah.
when I, like imagine, you're getting into something that's like brushless and electric and pretty easy to work on.
Yeah. Hey man.
Imagine a kid trying to figure out how to tune a two-stroke nitro engine.
I know it because like I said, my first kid was that MT, and then I got the HB truck. And man, that first kid, that MT was the one that I really really had to bump my head, learn, take stuff. I'm thinking this right. I go to my local hobby shop, which they were real cool. They knew that this is my first kit, so they said, "Okay, cool, go build this." He knew what he was doing. He was setting me up to really learn how to do it. So he said, "Go ahead, go on, build it, and just bring it back, and then we'll get it straight." But when I brought it back, Jimmy, man, he's like, "Cool, you got a whole bunch to go back and redo it and bring it back
Yep.
again."
That's
So
that's how you learn though. That's
yeah,
how
but
you learn.
that's how you learn, and that's how you get good at wrenching and get your speed at wrenching too. Because it's more than just the wrench. You gotta have some speed, especially if you're gonna race to get it done. Cause you got your race is coming up. You know what I'm saying? So you need time to be able to do that. And if you're running like the gas trucks or nitro, you need time, a little extra time to make sure your tune's right. So yeah, that's just part of the natural process of it, man. And
I still haven't figured that part out.
well, that's why we here for you. We got you. We got you. So yeah, but yeah, man. So you got into it. So when did you get bit by that racing bug? When they came about?
That's actually kind of a recent thing for me. So I got started into RCMA, basically just played around in the street and would go to the local parks and stuff like that because where I'm from,
Yeah.
there wasn't a racetrack available to race my RC10 GT at, or anything else that I don't know. I think I had a T Max too, but the local hobby shop eventually they had a racetrack for a short period of time, and then
Yeah.
they got closed down and had nowhere to race. And
Mm-hmm.
we, we we've been coming on down here to Florida on vacation in this area since like the early to mid '90s. So
Okay.
it's kind of crazy. Like now, we actually stopped at B&T when it was like the alternator shop and everything way back in the day, and like I had my RC10 GT
Yeah.
with me, but I was too scared to race it or practice with it because it was like the only nitro car out
Out
there. So I
there.
was like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna embarrass myself. I'll just kind of hang out and watch everybody else. And
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
it wasn't until 2019
Okay.
I saw an article in the paper. Of course, I've been living down here for a while at that point. I saw an article in the paper that local club and the city of Crestview were getting together to put
Uh-huh.
a racetrack in up here, and I was like, "Oh, cool!
Yeah.
Now's my chance. I can race my RC10 GT finally for
There
you
you
know
go.
almost
Yep.
20 years later." And I
But
discovered two things at that point. Number one, there was no hobby shop in Okaloosa County. You had to go clear to Pensacola or
yeah.
I think Tallahassee or
Yeah.
something. You had to
Yeah.
go drive
Mm-hmm.
hours to
Yeah,
get
man.
to a hobby shop. And then the other thing I learned is that nobody raced gas truck anymore. So it's like, who are you? If you're
Mm-hmm.
running at the racetrack, who are you going to run it with?
Running with. Yeah. Yeah, man. So just going through that process, man, and finding the track and you know getting your confidence built up to get out there and stuff like that. So what classes did you decide to run with? What classes do you run?
Once the racetrack got started,
Mm-hmm.
I'd opened up the hobby shop, and so the hobby shop had been open for about a year or so before B&T got open at its current location,
Yeah.
and before that, we were racing at a backyard track. And I think my first like purpose built race
Mm-hmm.
car that I built from a kit was the TLR 22X4 had just come out.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's a 10
Yeah.
scale 4-wheel drive stock buggy.
Yeah.
And then shortly thereafter, I bought a 22T 4.0 and
Okay.
raced it as stock too. And I guess just because I had some background and had driven these things as a kid,
Right.
it wasn't I didn't need to enter the novice class. So I was able to skip over that. But I'm still to this day kind of just Mr. Mid Pack. I wouldn't consider myself fast or anything like that.
I got you. Yeah, like I said, all of us started out the same way, and then, like I said, once we got our feet wet and get used to the competition and just being out there around other races, learn how to drive. Saying with other people on the track, and you make sure you're. This still a learning process for me too. But once you get that confidence and get out there that first time, it just make it easier the next time you do it. And like you said, you kind of after that found your way and found some guys to run with, and it just made your race experience that much easier. So, how did your first race go? How did that first race end up? The first one you got into, how did it go?
I don't even remember, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was over. We called it Garrett Pitt RC Race. It was just a backyard track, but we had like we bought a MyLapse timing system and put a Connex box out there, and
Yeah.
uh, it was really kind of cool because I was coming back to RC after like probably a 12-year break. I hadn't like touched it or anything, and then I came back and a few months later decided to open up a hobby shop. So I kind of got to relearn all this stuff right along with my customers and a lot of the people that were just getting into it. So
Yeah.
I think the earliest race I remember over there was like after we had the timing system, and I raced my 22T 4.0, and I remember um, running like Goosebumps and
Uh huh.
Carvers
Yeah.
on it, and I remember it like just feeling really good, and I think I ended up winning that race.
Okay.
I don't
Okay. A
even,
winner.
I don't even remember, but considering the level of competition is,
Petition.
we're basically just a bunch of guys in a backyard that hadn't touched an RC car in
Right.
12
Yeah.
years or so.
Well, yeah, man. So after that, and just going through that, getting used to racing, getting out there again and stuff like that. What's the three things you took from your first race that you kind of still apply to your racing today? Is anything that you kind of still, any like routine or anything that you took from that very first race that you still kind of do today in your racing now?
I've learned a lot over the last 3 years or so, because when I started off, like my race program has always been, like the hobby shop and Ignite come first. So my
Yeah.
race program takes a back seat to that, and that has definitely held true ever since the start.
Yeah.
So I guess the thing that's the most consistent about my race program is that it's one of the least important things to me on race day. So I'm the sort of guy, I don't really care where I finish. I'm out there to hang out with all of my friends and customers, and make sure that my biggest thing is just making sure everybody else has what they need in order to have a successful race day, or at least to kind of finish on race day. But
Yeah.
as far as like my personal routine goes, like it's really really inconsistent. It's kind of just depends on how much time I have after helping everybody else out to kind of focus on my own
Your own
program.
thing. Yeah, man. So, but yeah. So after you get, you've been in the racing thing and figuring stuff out just far as the race scene. So what was that pivot point where you decided to, you know, not just be just a racer and pivot from that to, getting into your entrepreneurship far as the business wise?
Yeah, so the hobby shop actually came first before I got into racing. So I
Okay,
hadn't
okay.
even
Yeah.
I hadn't even
All
pulled the
right.
pulled the throttle on a race car until probably close to 6 months after I opened up the hobby shop. I mean, we were
Okay.
just like strictly like Traxxas stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
Mm-hmm.
it was because I heard about the racetrack that I opened the hobby shop, but the
Yeah.
racetrack didn't actually open until September. So I opened up the hobby shop December 17th, 2019. So we're coming up on a 4-year anniversary.
Uh-huh.
And it was September of 2020 that B&T had their first race.
Yeah.
So it kind of was putting the egg before the chicken, I guess you could say. I got into the entrepreneur kind of led me
To racing. I
to
got you.
racing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Since you started from the entrepreneur side into the racing scene. But so what was how was the process? How was that process of getting into um you starting your own business and being an entrepreneur, having your own brand? How has that process, been?
It's been I guess it was surprisingly easy, I guess, for me, because I spent the preceding 6 years before I opened up the hobby shop was
Mm-hmm.
spent more or less running somebody else's small business. It was still retail. I mean, I had a strong background in retail,
Yeah.
but never had really opened my own retail store or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
And so I was looking for an opportunity because I was tired of working for other people. I knew I needed more
I got you.
autonomy in order just to be happier in my
Right.
in my personal life. I'm not great at following
Following the
orders
rules.
and yeah, and rules and stuff
Follow the
like that.
rules. Yeah, man. I
Yeah,
get it. Hey, I totally
I gotta
understand it.
I
Yeah.
gotta be able to paint outside the lines.
Yeah.
March to the beat of my own drum. So
That's right.
when
Yeah.
I read that article, that was really the catalyst right there. That was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
racetrack. Well, if there's going to be a racetrack, there should be a hobby shop.
Yeah.
And And I
Makes
got to
sense.
looking, got to asking around.
Yeah.
It was like, is there a hobby shop? Is anybody planning on doing one? And the answer was no. So I was like, oh, I'm going to give it a try. And everybody thought I was crazy. They're like,
Yeah.
are you serious? You're gonna have to do something else other than like sell RC cars. You're gonna have to like sell this other stuff and all this, that, the other. And I'm like, no, I think it'll work.
Yeah.
And I got open, like I said, in late 2019, and just a couple months later is when COVID happened. It
Yeah.
really, really kind of took off, and I was like, oh man, I just put all my eggs in this
This
basket,
basket. Yeah,
and
man. Yeah.
what's going to happen? And what ended up happening was, when the kids are out of school and they're at home driving the parents nuts, the parents are working from home, and then Uncle Sam comes through and sprinkles a few extra spending dollars into everybody's bank account.
Uh-huh.
Well,
What they
when
gonna
people
spend
get
it?
extra money they don't need, they spend it on stuff they don't need, and that's just what I happen to be in the just gotten into business doing, was selling that stuff. So and
Yo.
I didn't have any employees or anything at the start. It was just me, and I was working 7 days a week,
Right.
and would be there, you know, opened up at 10. So I'd be there at 9, and I might not leave till 9. So it'd be 12 hours at the store, and then another 3 or 4 hours at night, at least, just trying to figure out what I needed to order.
Yeah.
It grew so fast in that first year. It blows my mind still to this day when I go back and look at the pictures of how the
Picture
shop
grew.
was, and
Mm-hmm.
how busy it was. I mean, I didn't even really have time to think too much about like racing or my personal race program, or even just any of my own RC cars. Like, I didn't own,
Yeah.
like, my customers owned more RC cars than I did when
Yeah.
I first opened. I mean, because
Yeah.
I got rid of like everything when I opened up the shop. I sold my pickup truck, I sold my boat, and I sold a bunch of project cars, a bunch of stuff I had laying around. Like, I don't care if I have to live like a monk. This is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And
So like so yeah, man. Like, okay, just how, when you was talking in the trailer at Bring the Heat, just explain to everybody um how your growth was like during that COVID era, and how Ignite Design RC, how it grew during that time, and um what all you had to go through to just get through that time, and how it progressed from there.
yeah, it was tough,
Mm-hmm.
because like I said, I didn't have any employees, and being open 7 days a week. I mean, that's that's a lot of time to work. But I ended up being, my Traxxas rep told me, like, they couldn't believe how much stuff I was ordering and going through. They sent an outside sales rep to kind of check things out and investigate, because they thought that the hobby shop was a front, that I was using it to launder money or
Yeah,
sell drugs or something like that.
I
And when they
got you.
told me that, I said, guys, I don't think I could sell drugs this fast. Like, this is
Yeah.
ridiculous. This
Mm-hmm.
is insane. And I think I added my first employee in October of 2020,
Okay.
and he's still with me today.
Yeah.
And he's basically just like, we still stay so busy that I more or less have a full time just RC mechanic sitting down there just wrenching on everybody's stuff and soldering things up and things like that. And yeah, that first year, it became apparent to me
Tough.
after just a few months, like, okay, yeah, this is, it's definitely going to work. I definitely don't have to
You're
go
right.
back to working for somebody else. But now I got a whole new set of problems. Like, how am I going to manage all of
Manage
this?
everything.
It
Yeah.
was,
Mm-hmm.
uh, everybody kept telling me it's good problems to have, good problems to have. But, good problems are still
See
problems.
your problem.
You got to figure out how to kind of work through it. And I think after about 6 or 7 months, I went down to 5 days a week, and then a couple months after that, hired an employee. And it just, from what people that have been in the industry a lot longer than I have told
Yeah.
me, that it's been like when COVID happened, it was like the golden age of RC
I
coming,
see.
second coming of the golden age, and people getting into it like crazy. I mean, we
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
at the racetrack at
Uh-huh.
B&T, we would have club races with almost 200 entries.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it was insane, and
Mm-hmm.
people getting upset that we got the
So many
we're
injuries.
racing until like 11 o'clock at night. I think was the latest we ever raced just for a club race.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I mean, how else do it takes a while to try and get a race program like that done in one day.
Yeah. So I I wanted to ask you, okay, from starting up Ignite Design and and was it a point where you was kind of like I don't know if this my cup of tea. I don't know if this is really what I want to do. I mean, but in your case now, it's kind of like in reverse. Cause a lot of times when people started, it starts so slow, which it probably did for you. But you see how God bless you on with COVID, just far as on the business side. I know it was kind of hard on people, but far as business, that's the where the blessing came in with COVID. So was it to a point like you was like, man, am I am I cut out for this? This is what I really want to do, or you to that point of quitting? But go ahead, you answer. You answer. You answer.
Yeah, that the my first the first year that question was in my head a lot because
Mm-hmm.
it was the exact opposite of what, like you said, it was the exact opposite of what most businesses deal with when they first open. But it was
Right.
still it was really hard on me to work that much and to do it. But
Mm-hmm.
that's really, if you're going to start a business and go out and make it your livelihood, that's really what it takes. Is
Yeah.
you're you got to be committed to it, and you got to be
Okay.
willing to do whatever it takes. Because at the end of the day, if I don't follow through and get something done, it just it just doesn't
Don't
get
get done.
done.
You're right. Right. Right.
The As far as Ignite goes, so Ignite came along
Mm-hmm.
in 2022, early 2022. I think it was April.
Okay.
Yeah, because we raced. Jonathan Lee messaged me and said, "Hey, me and a couple of other guys have purchased these Ignite kits, and we were going to run gas truck at the B&T charity race,
Okay.
which
I
was in
got you.
November."
Yeah.
And he's like, you should get one and race it with us." And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Man, I don't know about messing with nitro stuff again. I did it as a kid, and it was just always a headache." He's like, "Come on, you got to do it." So like, fine. And
That's
we
right. That's right. You
it
get.
was a struggle. It was an absolute struggle trying to get, because I switched all my race cars from TLR to X-ray.
Uh huh.
And so I had an old dusty 22T 4.0, the one that I was talking about earlier. And I
Right.
was like, I got this thing kicking around. I always liked it. I guess, I'll buy the
Mm-hmm.
TLR kit and convert it. And it
Okay.
was like I said, it was a struggle. It was like right to the last minute. We like just finished putting the thing together when the
Mm-hmm.
first qualifying round came around. And but once I pulled the trigger once on that thing,
Yeah.
it was like I got pinwheels in my eyes. I was like, oh man, this is what I always dreamed of doing as a kid.
Right.
And
Another level. Yeah.
so now, then I started buying a ton of stuff from Chad, the founder of Ignite.
Okay.
And
Okay.
he eventually was like, I think he kind of got burnt out,
Mm-hmm.
where like you said, he's like, oh, is this really what I want to do? Because this is just a pure passion project for him. A lot of people don't know that, Chad thought that he might sell 25, maybe 50 of these things to like his friends and buddies and
Right.
whatnot. And then, like, as soon as it got out there,
Uh huh.
I mean, there's, I want to say, like, all the different, like, all the brands and everything, there's probably 400 or 500
Okay. Yeah.
uh, Ignite design gas
Is it?
trucks out there.
Uh
And we've
huh.
shipped them all over the world too. I mean, we've sent them to South Korea and
Right.
Japan, all over Europe.
Right. Cause
Australia is another
yeah.
hotbed for it.
Yeah. Cause like I said, once we think of like a brand like Ignite coming out, a lot of times we just we forget that this is worldwide. You know what I'm saying? We just think in our head that okay, just here in America or maybe in the state or whatever. Especially when a local guy like yourself, invest into it, and we don't really don't think how vast how how the sales can go worldwide. Really, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's another aspect, and that's another hurdle that especially you doing on your own, and we don't really have that many employees to help ship out
right.
and stuff like that, keep stuff organized as far as like your orders and stuff. It's it can be a lot. It can be a lot.
Yeah,
So
it's been a real learning experience. As far as the hobby shop goes, I mean, I had a pretty firm understanding of how to
yeah.
operate a retail store.
Mm-hmm.
But when Chad sold me Ignite, I'm sitting there holding the keys, like in the like now what? And
Right. Yeah.
what he sent what he sent me fit into just a few small boxes. Like he's like, this is it. This is the whole company. And I'm like, oh boy,
Yeah. Yeah.
now what
Still
am I
got to
going to
grow.
do? And
Mm-hmm.
within just a few months, we were able to restock so all the conversions were out of stock when I bought the company, and he was
Okay.
basically trying to decide, is he gonna you know f- fork out the money to restock everything, or is he just done at this point?
Yeah.
And that's when I came along and bought the company and then restocked everything. But we had to put together 150 of these kits
Okay. Okay.
inside just a few
Yeah.
months, and then I think we finished just before Bring the Heat
Mm-hmm.
in 2022,
Okay.
and we took them out there and raced them
So as far
raced
as
them at
the
Bring the Heat.
yeah, so far as the kits themselves, the ignite, the gas truck kits. What was the thing that really sparked that growth of bringing the gas truck part of RC back? What was the thing that really all the guys really want to get the gas trucks back out? What was the draw?
To be honest with you, I don't really know. I
Mm-hmm.
think for me it was like that's where I started, and I always wanted to race one.
Yeah.
And then for a lot of other people, it's the nostalgia, and then you've got an even smaller contingent that just really enjoys racing these
Yeah.
things. And I
Mm-hmm.
think Chad originally designed the Ignite conversions during COVID. Like I want to say he
Okay.
was like under lockdown or had a like broken foot or something like that. So he had a bunch of spare
Time.
time, and he
Yeah.
designed the kit and found all of the vendors and stuff for the various different machined pieces and carbon fiber and all of that. And it's pretty cool that the only the biggest complaint I get about the Ignite kits is that they're expensive, and
Uh-huh.
it's 100% they are, but they're
What's the price on them? What's the price on the conversion?
right around $300 for the
Okay.
conversion. So you got to have a
Uh-huh.
like a donor car, and then it's $300 on top of it, which is expensive, but it's really expensive to have all of these parts machined. I mean, if we just 3D printed everything, yeah, we could
Yeah.
probably sell it for a third of the price. But
Okay.
the only 3D printed part on a complete truck, I was trying to show it here. The only 3D printed part is actually the receiver box lid. Of course, we get hung up on the body. Yeah, you should be able to see it pretty easy on this one because it's blue. But
Okay. Go
everything
ahead.
else is machined from uh, Delrin, carbon fiber, aluminum,
Yeah. Show it again,
steel.
Jimmy. Show it again. So I expanded the screen so people can see it. So there
It's
you go.
it's it's absolutely filthy, but you can see that this one's got a
Yeah.
blue receiver box lid on it.
Yeah. I see it right
But
there. Mm-hmm.
that's the only machine, or that's the only 3D printed part in the entire kit.
Yeah.
So, all the rest of that stuff is machine shops work on uh, quantity. So
Right.
it's you got economies of scale, I think is the
Okay.
the word they use. So it's got to be in large quantities
Quantities.
in
Yeah.
order to make it even remotely. And that's why this stuff will go out of stock for long periods of time, because we're trying to get orders in for large quantities
Large
of
quantities.
all this stuff, and figuring out exactly what we need. Planning on a lot of planning and math goes into it.
Right. So if I like say if I decide to get a conversion kit or whatever, is it a specific brand I gotta have, or is the conversion kit pretty much universal, or what? How did that work?
So it started off just as like exclusively an associated thing,
Uh huh.
team associated.
Yeah.
And then Chad designed the kit for the TLR 22T 4.0,
Yeah.
but it shares probably 90+% of the same parts. Like the chassis plate is
Yeah.
different, and the carbon fiber parts, so most of those are different.
Yeah.
But like the servo mounts, the receiver box, the fuel tank, the clutch setup,
Mm-hmm.
even the brake setup, all that stuff. So they share a ton of parts between them. And then the last one, which was made, was the X-Ray XT2
X-ray. Uh huh.
conversion, and that one is unique. I think that's Chad had kind of learned from making the original ones,
Yeah.
that he kind of learned from the experience, and the X-ray conversion ended up having a fair bit of unique parts, which made it a little bit more expensive to manufacture.
Okay.
But it really is. I mean, he did an absolutely killer job on the design of that one.
Yeah, man. Like I said, for everybody just now jumping in, this is Jimmy Woodley from Ignite Design RC. So he's the guy that's kind of behind, all the Ignite gas truck conversion kits and anything else you may need in RC. So so Jimmy, what from the conversion kits and being entrepreneur, starting your own brand, any advice would you give to anybody just want to start? Because it's a lot of new brands that then came out, like tires and um, a lot of new brands that sell like the accessories for the RC cars. Any kind of advice would
Yeah.
you give them? Being like a new owner, new business owner, and stuff like that. What kind of advice would you give them guys?
I mean, the biggest thing, and you hear everybody
Mm-hmm.
say this, is the biggest thing is to just start doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the
Jump in.
most basic advice ever, but yeah,
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
got to start doing something. And like what I like to do, and I've got like legal pads of I make lists. I'll just start writing stuff down on a legal pad of like what I want to accomplish or get done that day,
Yeah.
and I'll just go start ticking stuff, because it's so easy to get distracted by social media or customers coming in or something like that, and it's really easy to just glance back at the legal pad and say, "Oh yeah, I was working on. Need to try and get this done today," and that
Right.
that that always helped me kind of move the ball down the field, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
But something else as far as like all those accessory brands and stuff like that. I mean,
Uh huh.
I don't want to throw shade at anybody, but anybody can do that. Uh,
Okay.
Anybody can get their start doing that. All you got to do is jump on Alibaba, or I probably get a dozen emails a day from Chinese companies that want to sell me
Yeah.
all kinds of little knickknacks. That's
I got
like
you.
I said, I don't want to throw shade on any of these accessory companies, because a lot of those guys, they have to do the 3D models and specifically request from those Chinese manufacturers the things that they want.
Yeah.
But if you are capable of doing that, you can certainly, it just takes a few emails and a little bit of money,
Mm-hmm.
and
I got you.
you can have your own RC accessories brand.
Okay. So after you've been in it for a minute and got things pretty well situated and got things in order and things kind of like under control, you see how the orders come in, how everything's working, how often you got to order and stuff like that. So when was the point you saw that things were paying off and now you able to, like get your hobby shop and move around, go to tracks and go race and sell at the same time. When was that point when you feel like, okay, now I can get out a little bit. Now I got things under control. I can, move around a little bit.
I still don't
You
feel
still
like I can get out, and I get real bad anxiety about,
Yeah.
this year has been an exceptionally tough year for me,
Hmm.
both personally and professionally. We
Yeah.
were meant to travel to a bunch of races, and it was supposed to be, we sponsored the Emerge series that
Yeah.
Dad's races put on, and
Okay.
they do 6 races each year. For the last 2 years they have, and
Hmm.
we sponsored it with the both Ignite Design and Classic RC, and we were meant to travel to Central and even South Florida,
Yeah.
and it just did not work out. We were trying to make 4 or 5 of these 6 races, and I ended up making one. And the only reason I made that one race is because it was at B&T.
Yeah. I
So
got you right at home.
it was just a mile away from the hobby shop, and even that one was a struggle to make because I had employees calling off and just
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff
Yeah. It's
going
like,
wrong. So it's very
right.
difficult to try and race and run a hobby shop or a
Hmm.
mobile trailer,
Okay.
anything like that. It's a real challenge to try and race and do that. So that's why I've always been, I always put my race program goes right to the
To the
to the
back
back,
end back burner, huh? Yeah.
back burner, 100%.
Yeah. Well, since you get it in a little bit, is anything you
Yeah,
have took from being an entrepreneur, took from, you got to the point where you was like, I don't know, when you get, too far invested in it to stop, any kind of attribute like that have you took from you being an entrepreneur, getting your business started, that you have related to your racing, like being out on the track and driving through, through adversity. You know, some of the instance, we be out there in our mains and things go crazy around us on the track during the race. You just being mentally strong and staying focused through that and doing what you're doing. Have anything kind of related from both situations?
yeah. The biggest thing
Mm-hmm.
for like my racing, being the hobby shop guy and also racing is I always drive very carefully to make sure that I don't interrupt somebody else's race or hot laps, because not only would that,
Yeah.
is that just poor form to do that, it could potentially cost me a customer as well. So I'm always really mindful of that. But it
Okay.
also probably my biggest advantage is that because I'd already know that my race program is going on the back burner. It
Yeah.
allows me to kind of just get up there and relax and just drive the car and have fun and
Okay.
enjoy it, and
That's
not
true.
take it too seriously. But every once in
Right.
a while, I'll have these flashes of brilliance where I'll throw down an absolute heater
Yeah.
of Maine or something like that, or
I got you.
there's a few really fast guys here locally that have gas trucks, and every once in a while, when the stars align, I can
So
sometimes take a race off of them, but
I got you. That's what's up.
few and far between.
Yeah. So I mean, it's good. I see. Cause like I say, you once you focus on the business, but then when you do race, you racing to have fun, not to be so um focus on just your outcome, your performance, your finishing, and that
Yeah,
has eased your mind and made you more relaxed to have fun and through all that time and from time to time you can put down some heaters, be competitive because you're not as uptight trying to put so
yeah.
much pressure on yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
So yeah,
exactly.
I
I
got you.
never feel any pressure whatsoever on the driver's stand. I'm just going up there, and
Yeah.
it's not like there's a ton of gas trucks around either. So a lot of times I end up racing with the
Hmm.
same guys, and we kind of know what the pecking order is. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, in a lot of cases, could be anybody's race. You know, especially with nitro, anything can happen, especially
Yeah.
in longer races.
Yeah. I like a lot of the guys ask me, with the gas trucks and stuff like that. A lot of them ask me about the durability part of them. Um, how is the
That
durability of the gas truck?
it's it's actually been really good.
Mm-hmm.
All things considered, especially compared to some of the old trucks, which I never really had too much trouble with my RC10 GT, but
Yeah.
I've heard other guys tell me that the TLR and the Mugen trucks of the day had some serious weaknesses in the suspension. I think like the graphite control arms or something like that were breaking. But as far as the Ignite trucks go, like on the Associated
Yeah.
cars, these things weigh about 200 to 300 grams more than their electric counterparts when
Okay.
they're fully race ready. So it's a little bit easier to pop ball cups, and the biggest thing on like the Associated cars for sure is the transmission,
Yeah.
uh, and ball diffs especially. A lot of people uh, aren't used to, with
Mm-hmm.
an electric car, you can, if the ball diff is barking, you can hear it,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh yeah, that doesn't sound, it sounds like my diff. I'm going to pull it in, I'm going to adjust it. But on the gas truck, you can't hear that ball diff screaming.
Okay.
It's
Because of the
you got
engine.
to yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta have enough experience and wisdom to know that, okay,
Uh-huh.
this thing's slipping, I need to bring it in and check it out and see if it's the slipper, or if it's the engine clutch, or if it's
Yeah.
or if it's the diff. I've seen quite a few completely melted ball diff
Oh,
gears because they're just slipping. And
right. So is
but
it a way? Is it a way that can you run gear a gear
yeah,
diff in? Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
all these cars have a gear diff option, and it's on
Okay.
a loose surface, it's a little bit less than ideal. I think the ball diff is
The better.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
definitely the go to. But here at B&T, as long as the weather cooperates, we get just as much grip as probably any indoor track out there. So
Okay.
guys, at least here, can get away with it, but elsewhere, your mileage may vary. I run a ball diff in all of mine, and I think they usually, especially the X-ray ball diff, holds up really well.
Real good. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, bro. I said my next question is, man, just this is the end of 2023. We boiling it down, to the final days of 2023. Is anything looking back over the year that you really wanted to may have changed just looking back, or something that you maybe wanted to do more of, or looking back on the year, what the things you may have wanted to change or redo or
yeah.
something?
I definitely wish that I could have made more of these races that I was hoping to be able to travel to, and
Uh-huh.
we're kind of making up on a little bit of lost ground here. In the here in the fourth quarter, we're
Yeah.
trying to we're planning on going over to Tallahassee on
Okay.
December 2nd for I think they call it the Krampus Clash. It's kind of their Toys for Tots.
Okay.
Donate a toy and get your entry fee. So I'm actually like, somebody was talking about running gas truck, and I'm like, nah. I'm
You ain't
bringing
gonna
I'm
try.
bringing my no, I'm
Yeah.
bringing my 8 scale buggy, and it seems like these days I don't get to run that thing
Enough.
very
Mm-hmm.
much. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably the biggest thing, though. I wished I could have made some more of these races that
Right.
we were supposed to go to. And
Mm-hmm.
also, we've had a bunch of products in the pipeline that, just with everything that we've had going on, yeah, like I said, both in my personal and professional life, everything going on, that we
Yeah.
haven't been able to get these. It kind of went to the back burner. All these new products and stuff like that for the Ignite trucks, and then
Yeah.
finally the T6.2 kits sold out.
Okay.
So I was like, oh man, I need to get this
Or
T6.4,
two.
some of
Mm-hmm.
these others. So I wished I could have got some of these new products released a little bit sooner, but there's a chance that we'll be able to get some of this stuff still released this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. So okay. other than that, um, going into 2024, what's some of your goals you want to hit? What's some of the goals and what's some of the stuff you may want to maybe invest in? What you've been looking at that's kind of interesting. What your the goals you have written down for 2024? If you can say them, I know they kind of
Yeah,
be, yeah.
yeah. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm an open book. Um, I think our number one goal is to improve our inventory accuracy, because
Yeah.
that's not only did when I bought Ignite, not only was it kind of a rude awakening from trying to figure out how to have all this stuff manufactured and trying to manage all those moving parts, but it's also e-commerce. At the hobby shop, we have a website and we do ship, but
Yeah.
our focus has always been on that person to person, you know, just face to face interaction rather than trying to go and expand and sell a bunch of stuff online and ship stuff out. It was never really, I didn't really set out to do that. So
Right.
what we're trying to improve the online, not only online, but all of our inventory accuracy, both at the hobby shop and Ignite.
Awesome.
By,
Yeah.
by making that more accurate, it'll make it easier to do business online, and not just for the folks that we have to ship stuff to, but we've also got like local pickup options, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, friends and loved ones can purchase gift cards without ever having to come into the store,
Yeah.
uh, things like that. So we're trying to improve inventory accuracy. The other thing that we're going to start dipping our toe into, hopefully, is making some more video content.
Okay.
So
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. That's always good.
specifically,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
specifically like technical stuff. So while I don't take my race program too seriously, what I do really enjoy
Yeah.
is like testing stuff out, all these new products and
I got
uh,
you. Yeah.
different like suspension setups, and kind of trying to figure out how to make the so-called modern gas truck handle a little bit more
Bit.
like the
Yeah.
the older style, because the
Mm-hmm.
the biggest design difference is that the Ignite trucks have the battery underneath the fuel tank, so it's
Oh.
it's moved quite a bit forwards,
Yeah.
and all the old trucks had the batteries back behind the rear shock
Rear
tower.
shot tower. Yeah. Like on the bumper
Yes,
type. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so we've got a this is something that we just released recently.
Okay. Hold on. Let me
It's
load up.
basically what it is it's a tiny little
Okay.
LiFi or lithium iron phosphate battery
Uh huh.
on this little holder,
Yeah.
and
Cool.
this basically, let me see if I got this held up right. The little battery connects
Yeah.
right where the rear sway bar or roll bar
Yeah. We go.
would
Mm-hmm.
go.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been testing that out, and it really seems to help. Not only because you shift in weight towards the rear of the truck, but
Yeah.
it's also makes the truck lighter overall and helps kind of shrink that gap between the electric and the nitro.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
That's been one of the biggest things that's improved the handling, is just dropping weight off the truck and then shifting it rearwards as much as you can. It really helps. But adding, like, running the battery underneath the fuel tank, and then adding we sell this brass ballast,
Yeah.
which I'm not be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of.
Yeah.
But it adds like 70 grams behind the rear shock tower to kind of
Mm-hmm.
emulate that battery. But if you don't
Yeah.
take the one out from underneath the fuel tank, it kind of makes the handling a mess.
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay, with the battery mounted right there, would it also help with the grip for the
Yeah,
grip of the truck?
yeah, and
Okay.
that's the big thing, is that these trucks definitely handle and rotate way better than the old trucks do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, but when you race it outdoors, a lot of times you don't have much. rear grip. So that's been a lot of people chasing that, the setup and the weight bias to get to improve the rear grip of
Okay.
the trucks. And I think
Yeah.
we've really moved the needle quite a bit just in figuring out some of the basic setup stuff for these trucks, because they actually kind of handle my other, gas truck's definitely my favorite race class, but my second
Mm-hmm.
favorite is two-wheel drive short course truck.
Yeah.
And they actually handle very similarly because the short course truck's got that big heavy body, riding up high. And you by kind of stiffening the suspension, thicker shock oil, stiffer springs, thicker sway bars, or just adding sway bars, it really
Yeah.
helps make a two-wheel drive short course truck
Okay.
feel way less
Feel
nervous.
great.
And the gas
Mm-hmm.
truck is very, very similar.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, I had a question right here from Dan. He was saying, was the hobby shop pit and
Pet and
hobby?
hobby.
Yeah. That
No, it was
El
called
Riso. Mm-hmm.
Pet and Hobby World in Danville, Illinois.
Okay.
So
Danville,
this
Illinois.
was back up north.
Okay. 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 Cool. Cool. But yeah. But yeah, man. Well, from that, what you think about this, Jimmy? Why we don't have a lot of races like out in out in parking lots? Not really a lot of races like, just say like at fairs or something like that, where it's where people kind of have time just to walk around and see and look. Maybe like at hobby conventions. What you think about those situations? As far as like, don't we have more of that? You know.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
more like a exhibition
Mm-hmm.
race. Don't they do one of those? This is up in like Pennsylvania, like low C. It's called Motorama.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah. Motorama. Yeah.
That's
That's.
that's about
Mm-hmm.
the only one I know of that's like that. And I want to say that they put it on the same weekend as like another big race, so it doesn't get a whole lot of attention. But yeah, there's definitely, uh, that could definitely help grow the race scene, because I know that like I think Lefty talks about this
Yeah. A
a
little bit.
lot about
Mm-hmm.
how
Mm-hmm.
you know getting it out there and just having people see it. It's definitely something that we can improve upon. And like our RC racing is such a small niche,
Yeah,
and then
man.
I
Yeah.
can definitely tell that
Mm-hmm.
like gas truck is a very small niche
Niche.
within that
Mm-hmm.
niche, and then the people that actually race their gas trucks are an even smaller niche within that. A lot of these trucks that we sell end up, just like the ones behind me, end up just
Yeah.
shelf queens basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Like my boy Steve Harris right here was saying that he basically he said he just wanted to be a sponsor for you all, the race the 10 scale gas trucks. He's offering his services, so
Okay.
yeah. And he said also he wanted to know, he said, didn't y'all make a Tebow replica 10th
So
gas truck?
that's one thing that was one way how Chad kind of marketed the
Mm-hmm.
um,
The conversions.
Ignite
Yeah.
before I got a hold of it. He sent truck kits out to a lot of the pro drivers, and then Jared Tebow does have one of
Yeah.
our trucks. In fact, on our YouTube channel,
Uh-huh.
you can actually see Tebow making some laps with his Ignite um, T6.1, I think it was.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. It's all painted up in his paint scheme and everything,
Mm-hmm. But
and
yeah, I
and
need.
he's definitely looks pretty fast with it. Adam Drake has one too.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, man. So I just recently seen Tebow at AMS, and he did pretty good. Did pretty good. I think he was in the top six. I think he was like around about six in his classes or whatever. So, but yeah, I spoke with him and everything. He seemed to be, because he's saying that he gonna retire, but I think he just really want to go to races that he really want to go to and not really be on a set schedule to go.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know. And like how we was talking about earlier, and that's less pressure, where he can have more fun, and he probably gonna have better results that way too. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, man. But
I've
yeah.
never spoken or talked to, and and me kind of
Mm-hmm.
just getting into racing in the last few years. I
Mm-hmm.
end up feeling a little bit like an outsider
Yeah.
since I'm I'm kind of so new to this. I've never had a chance to meet or talk with Jared Tebow, but I'm really impressed with what he's been able to do with his brand and
Right.
being the Mayako. I think he's a service. You probably know more than I do.
The service department. He's like, he sells the Miyako kits and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
also with mixed in also with the Tebow brand and stuff, and sells
yeah,
his stuff all together. So it's just been a great opportunity for him, because
yeah,
his brand is getting more out on a more of an international scale, along with Miyako and everything. So it's been pretty good for him.
yeah. And
Like I
I
say,
have a feeling kind of what he's getting at. I mean, I don't think that he's going to retire from racing entirely,
right.
but he's probably going to start shifting gears, and me and him are going to probably be on the same page where the race program starts to take a little bit of a back seat while he focuses on his business.
This
And
business,
I
yeah.
think I think a lot of other professional or semi-professional RC racers and drivers
Right.
could really look at Jared Tebow, and even Adam Drake is another great example of guys that were just really fast. They basically did the opposite
Right.
of what
Yeah.
I did. I got into business first and then
Business. Then
racing,
start racing.
and
Yeah.
they're definitely, those guys are way more talented than
Yeah.
I am as far as driving goes. But yeah,
Shoot, bro.
that's definitely kind of to go back to one of your earlier questions as far as advice.
Yeah.
You can look at because just because you drive an RC car fast doesn't mean you're going to be able to even when you get older. I mean, that's definitely like one of the
Yeah.
things about RC racing, right? Like, there's a reason we have a 40 plus class, because as you
Class.
get older, you typically
Yeah.
get a little slower.
Yeah, man. And then like you said, your priorities change. You having your
Yep.
family.
Yep.
You starting like Tebow did, getting into the business side. So you don't really, not saying you don't love it as much, but your focus is kind of changing, just from
Yeah.
just being running, racing,
Yep.
so it's other stuff you want to do, and to help progress yourself, and not just be stagnant in just one thing. So yeah, it's great, man. It's great
Yeah.
to, yeah, expand yourself like that. Yeah, but yeah, so like I say, anything else you far as like Ignite itself, um 2024, are y'all trying to do any more conversions, or anything else
So
coming out with any new?
this I showed this briefly with the rear battery mount, but
Uh-huh.
um, this is our T6.4 conversion,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
and it's got a lot of 3D printed and prototype stuff. We had to do a little bit of a throwback with the white and clear 3D printed stuff with the rest of the
Okay.
RC10 stuff. But
Yeah, it look good.
this
Yeah.
is
Clean.
we're
Clean. Yeah.
waiting for some manufacturing samples
Uh-huh.
on this to make sure that everything goes together and
Right.
looks nice, and
Right.
everything the same fit and finish as the rest of the trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And we're having to deal with a little bit of a, you can see the blue spur gear, and there's also
Yeah, I
3D
see.
printed.
Right there. Mm-hmm.
um, the Unfortunately, the spur gear that we were sourcing from an axial, I think it was an axial crawler,
Okay.
that crawler got discontinued,
Oh,
so we're
okay.
having to figure out
Okay.
what to do for a spur gear.
Spur gear.
But
Yeah.
yeah, we should have these
Looks good.
T6.4s. I think we're going to have a little bit of a Black Friday pre-sale
Mm-hmm.
deal going on for people that want to be an early adopter of
Right.
that.
Uh-huh.
My big thing is I didn't want to put a pre-order out there until I had like a good solid kind of what I felt to be kind of a functional thing, that
Yeah.
everything work out.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and we're pretty much at that point, and I think within it'll either be December or January we'll have a batch of the T6.4s ready to go. So I think we're
Okay.
gonna
Yeah.
make the pre-orders live and do a little bit of a discount.
Man, it look good, brother. It looks good. Like y'all did a very good job. Fit and finish look good on it. Just far as like 3D printed parts and stuff like that that's on there. How durable are those? Like, right? I know that's kind of like the prototype. It's not really the production yet. So,
Yeah,
um,
if I had
mhm.
so the I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, but the chassis is actually 3D printed as well, and it's just
Okay,
got a little bit of a
a brace right there in the okay in the middle.
well,
Hmm.
you can kind of see right here where we just took a soldering iron to it because our 3D printer wasn't big enough to do the whole chassis in one shot.
I got
So
you.
we just got some we took a soldering iron to it and kind of fused it. But once you put even the so I have a carbon fiber top deck, but
Yeah,
we actually
that's right.
redesigned
Yeah,
it a little bit so we could still make use of the transponder mount on top of the servo.
cool. Yeah.
But
Hmm.
even with the 3D printed stuff, like it's reasonably rigid.
Right.
Like I'm giving it some jam right now, and it's not.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm going to snap the thing in half. I mean, once you got all the carbon fiber, the battery door and all the braces and stuff like
Braces.
that,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. It
really
looks good.
pretty
Yeah.
stiff. If I had an aluminum chassis, I
Hmm.
wouldn't be afraid to run it with the 3D printed top deck or front uprights, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
It's
Right there.
basically connects the chassis and the front bulkhead and the
Right. And the
top
top
plate all
plate.
together.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't have any fear of running that. It's just and even the 3D printed chassis would probably be strong enough, but after maybe 90 seconds of the engine running, it's going to melt it's going to make it soft and melty, and then the spur gear is going to go.
Yeah. But y'all got time to get it together. Like I said, that's just the prototype of it right now. And
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Here
Hmm.
within the next week or two, we should have our aluminum parts. I'm really looking forward to running the associated truck because it's kind of funny. Like I started off with the RC10 GT
Right.
right here
Hmm.
20 something years ago, and
Yeah.
then when I got back into it, I started back with a TLR gas truck,
Grass truck.
and then I
Hmm.
switched from the TLR gas truck to the X-ray gas truck. So
Yeah.
I have very little actual drive time on our most popular conversion kit.
Yeah.
So sometimes that makes it difficult to kind of like talk setup and stuff like that. So
Well, it's all
we're
good, bro.
really,
Yeah, you got time now. Like I said, this the end of the year. Now you can get out at B&T and test some
yeah,
stuff out yourself and really see what's really gonna work, what's not, what you may want to change. And so yeah, you got a little time now, to get stuff together. So
yeah, it
yeah, get
definitely
out.
helps that
Mm-hmm.
B&T's only like 5 minutes from the Ignite Design World headquarters where
Yeah.
where I'm sitting right now.
But yeah. Well, other than B&T, your home track, what's your other favorite track around there that you done raced so far? I know you ain't did a lot of racing, but what you have done, what other tracks you really enjoy?
Definitely Saratoga,
Uh huh.
Flowwood.
Yeah.
That's definitely my another one of my
Go
favorites
to.
for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a lot of the same guys from B&T. It's a real similar atmosphere, and the
Right.
Puckets are really they make meaningful, practical improvements to the facility. Like
Right. Right. Yeah.
every year I've gone, the next year it gets even better, and definitely, yeah, that's definitely my second favorite. I've not been over to Capital City yet in Tallahassee, so I'm looking forward to checking that out.
Okay.
I never, unfortunately, didn't get to go to the warehouse before it shut down.
Oh yeah, you would love the warehouse, man.
Yeah,
Yeah. It would have
that's
been just right for the gas truck stuff.
yep,
Yeah. But he's gonna work it out. And like I said, we doing something here down in Montgomery, so we definitely keep an ear out for the RC Fun Place here in Montgomery. Is where here we're building, helping a guy. Um, he has like what 8 different tracks, and all of them is like kind of like training tracks. Like if you really first into RC, first car, you ain't really drove it on the track yet, you gonna be designed to run on
Yeah.
a Pacific track instead of putting everybody together on one track and you
Yeah.
getting the pro guys getting their stuff tore up and stuff, and then making the beginners, having no headache because they got to move out the way every 5 minutes, so they ain't having
Yep.
fun. So everybody be on their own track, and once you get better at each track, you advance to the pro track, and we have that there. We had the RC tracks there. Then we have a gaming room. We can go and you can do your gaming. Then we have a TV section where you come and just watch the games, and in the back of the facility is a lake where you can do the boats and stuff like that. So it's more of a good community type thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
listen, we're gonna have some stuff out there. I'm gonna keep you informed in that. You may can bring the trailer down and bring
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah.
guys up
Because
and come out there and see some stuff. And but yeah, it's
yeah,
gonna be for
Montgomery's
everybody.
not very
Uh-huh.
far. I think it's what, 2.5 hours.
About 2.5 hours. Yeah. So yeah, like our opening date is gonna be like next Saturday. Next Saturday, the 25th after Thanksgiving. Um, we're gonna do like a kind of like a soft opening, just to get a feel
Yeah.
of how the stuff is gonna be. Like you said, sometimes you just gotta do it and just
Yep.
whatever shows up, you deal with that and make it great for them and just let the word grow. And I got the little podcast right here, so I'm putting promoting some stuff out about it. And like I said, it's just gonna be, man, really, it's like I said, a community thing, and then it's for everybody, not just RC, but RC, yeah, it's there because it's like a spot where just
Yeah.
say me and my girl get into an argument, you know,
Yeah.
and
You can go hang out there and
instead of me going downtown getting drunk and coming back
yep.
home drunk and then got to hear some more mouth and then that lead to a bigger situation. You
I know
you know what I'm
exactly what
saying?
you're talking about. Yep.
And then, so instead of having that option, now you got somewhere you can go hang out with the fellas,
Yeah.
grab your cars and go. Either you
Yep.
just want to get away, go and just watch the game in peace. You know what I'm saying? Till you cool down and come on back to the crib. So it's for
Yeah.
everybody, man. So yeah,
That's
yeah.
our city manager of Crestview calls it multi-generational entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
it's good everything. It's
Yeah.
good, clean
Yeah.
family fun. So I think it'll be really popular, and that's really kind of how it started here in Crestview
Right.
was really grassroots and
Mm-hmm.
just had a good fun place to go. And then the
Right.
B&T got open, and like one of B&T's biggest strong suits is that it's a public park. So when
Right.
there's not like a sanctioned race going on, you can just show up, charge your batteries, and as long as the track's not wet and you're not trying to run an X Max or
Right.
something, fifth
Mm-hmm.
scale on it, then
Right. You
you can
good to
just you can
go.
just show up and
Mm-hmm.
have fun. And because the racing doesn't appeal to most RC hobbyists. I mean, we mention it to like every person that comes in the store, and they get really stoked about the racetrack. But really, what they're looking for is just a place to go and use their
Your car,
RC
yeah.
cars, whether they're
Mm-hmm.
racing or just jumping. Or
Right. So yeah,
and what it culminated in is the Crestview's putting in hundreds of thousands of dollars into this, uh, calling it the Brookmead Park Improvement Program. They're going to
right,
cover the
yeah.
racetrack, the pits. They're going to put in a BMX track, RV parking,
Okay.
and it's all paid for and in the budget.
Right.
So I mean, they've been really happy with what they've seen us
Do
accomplish
so.
out there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like I said, man, because like the first time I've been there once, and I'm gonna get back there. I'm really gonna try to get down there before it really gets cold again, and come out there and run some. And but yeah, I really enjoyed it that first time I came down there. I think it was battle. I think battle of the beat a battle B&T battle race.
yeah, the battle at B&T, was it
Yeah.
was it at this Crestview location or one of the older
Yeah.
ones?
The Crestview location. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Crestview, the track is kind of like what, kind of right around the corner from that Walmart or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and yeah, it's just a great venue, great place where it's at. Not like I said, it's right there, close to everybody.
Yeah,
Restaurants
yeah.
right there. Mm-hmm.
The
And
location is
yeah,
killer.
hotels is right there. Yeah. So yeah, it's a great spot. So y'all are going. They are gonna try to cover it up. Put a cover, put a roof on it and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to end up being kind of like
Mm-hmm.
what is it? There's a so it's still going to be open air. Like it's not going to be enclosed
Right.
and air conditioned and all that. But
I
they're
got
going
you.
to put a roof over the track,
Track.
and
Yeah.
they're going to
Have it
they're
open.
actually going to put some retail space down there too, which
Okay.
I'm excited about
Yeah.
because
That might be a
I
little
could
spot for you to
potentially,
be, huh?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
could
Yep.
potentially get win the contract for that. So we're certainly going to try for that. But
Yeah.
they're also, the RV parking is going to be a big deal, and they're also
Okay.
doing a purpose built RC drag strip, a couple of rock crawling courses,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah. Because we have a rock crawling course out there at the fun
yeah,
place and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be that's gonna be great, especially for y'all
yeah,
right there where y'all at. That's gonna be real good. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and they've gotten like some very early like artist renderings and stuff like that done, but it was in the budget this year, and it's all paid for through the Tourist Development Council. So there's like they charge a bed tax here in
Yeah.
Florida. So it's a little
Mm-hmm.
extra tax when you rent a hotel room. You pay a little bit extra, and Crestview just recently got in on that program. So now we're charging the bed tax up here in Crestview, and I think that we even get to collect a little bit. Like we get to share a little bit with like Destin and Okaloosa Island. Send a little bit of money back up north, but
Mm-hmm.
that money can only be spent on anything that's like recreational or attracts tourists to the area. So
Yeah.
it was a perfect fit for the RC track. It made perfect sense, and eventually the RV parking I think is gonna will eventually more or less pay for the entire project because the proximity to I-10 and all of the
Right.
restaurants and everything, all the new
Right
retail
there.
that the city just put in,
Mm-hmm.
it's all right here. So it's and those RV spots are going to be year round.
Yeah. A good friend of mine, Mike Walker, right here, was saying that it's the B&T track. Is it A scale friendly?
It sure is. Yeah, it's the layout that we have in right now. So the entries we've gone back and looked over the last couple of years in B&T. It's about 70%, 60 to 70% 10 scale,
Mm-hmm.
but the 8 scale is definitely we got a pretty good 8 scale following here too. It's a little bit on the as far as 8 scale goes, it would be considered tight, technical, and very high grip.
Yeah.
Is how I
Yeah.
would describe it as a
Yeah. That's how it
from an
was.
8 scale perspective.
Mhm. It's not real like tight, like too
Well,
small of a
the
track.
current
But yeah.
layout is
Mm-hmm.
a
It
little
is.
bit tight, but
It's
mostly
tight.
just the truggies. Like the buggies can, it's just fine. I mean, and Ben's really good about making sure he never goes
Yeah.
anything less than 10-foot lanes, and I think he usually tries to go for 12
Yeah. He was saying that he said what's
lap times.
yeah.
So this layout's very new, but typically we're anywhere from on average, like your average driver 28 seconds with a 10 scale. The
Yeah.
fast guys can get down in 23, 24. Like
Mm-hmm.
23 is that's smoking fast. That's like pro driver
Yeah.
lap times. But uh, most on this layout, it's a little closer to 30 because it's 700 feet on the center line,
Mm-hmm.
packed into. So the dimensions of the track's 90 by 120.
Nothing about
So
120. Yeah.
it's a little bit small for 8 scale, and it's definitely on the big side for 10 scale. It does a pretty good job of straddling
Defense.
the
Yeah.
line there.
Yeah. Like I said, when we ran my first time down at the battle, it was good. It was just right to me. I felt like the track was at a decent, nice size for, especially the A scale buggy. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, Mike, it's very fun, man. Y'all ought to really look into doing some of that Florida series down in Crestview. That'd be great. It really would.
yeah. We haven't gotten.
Mm-hmm.
We just had the merge series came through this year, and that was super popular and went over very well. So I think that's kind of opened the door for more series races to come through here. The problem with a lot of the like Florida series is that
Yeah.
because we're so far up here in the Panhandle, it's almost like
Yeah, it's a ride. Yeah, it's
yeah,
about
it's
about
it's
three,
almost
four
like
hours ride. Yeah.
yeah, we're basically Alabama. I mean, we can be in Alabama inside of 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike was saying, yeah, it sounds like
Yeah,
fun. Yeah,
there's
layout.
definitely room for big campers.
Yeah.
In fact, that's what we were talking about. Once they get this improvement project done, and the official start date was October 1st of this year, so they're working on site design and planning currently.
Right.
But once they get that done, there will actually be hookups for the big RVs. You'll be able to hook up to power, and I think maybe even into the sewage and all that, and water.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to pay for that, but currently, yeah, you can
Come down there and
they don't allow for camping outside of race days, but on race days you can
come camp.
camp out. And there's we usually have, especially like for the big races, we usually have 3 or 4, 5 like big RVs.
Yeah. But bro, that is awesome, man. And like I said, Mike was saying when
Next
is
one's
the
going to be
next
the
launch?
battle, fourth weekend in March. And it's a 3-day event, so it'll be practice Friday, qualifying Saturday, and then mains on Sunday.
Okay. Say it again so everybody will know again. Say it one more time.
The next big event is going to be the fourth weekend in March. It's called the Battle at B&T.
Okay.
I don't know the exact dates off the top of my head. I'll look real quick. Should be March 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So there'll be practice Friday the 22nd, qualifying Saturday the 23rd, and then the mains will be on the 24th.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Bro, anything else you got? Any shout outs? Anything you want to say about your sponsors or anything else coming from up from Ignite? Go ahead, get it on out there. Let them know what's
Sponsors,
up.
yeah. I'd
Mm-hmm.
like to thank all of my sponsors, which is going to be all my customers.
That's right.
I'm not. I don't have any. I don't have any racing sponsors. I guess you could say I'm sponsored by Ignite and Classic RC.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, keep an eye out for the T6.4
Mm-hmm.
conversions coming out, and
Yeah.
definitely we got a few other things in the cooker that we've been toying around with the idea of a gas truck specific .12 engine.
Okay. Okay.
Um, that's
That'll
still
be
very
good.
much kind of in the
Mm-hmm.
works.
Yeah.
And we're definitely looking forward to Black Friday and Christmas and all that. But yeah, and then the racetrack too, B&T. I'm not officially on like their board or anything like that. I just been trying to help uh, promote the races and help with their production value and help around the track.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth the trip to check it out. It's a hidden gem here in the South,
That's
and
it.
once it gets the cover and all those improvements, it's going to be. I mean, it'll be a real destination for
Even
sure.
better. Mm-hmm. But brother, hey, Mr. Jimmy. Awesome job, man. Awesome job. Awesome job. Awesome job. Yeah. Yeah. Get that big horn for you, man. And like I say, man, hey, bro, we appreciate it. We ain't gonna keep you up all night, but it's something that we definitely have to do again. Especially
Absolutely.
going into next year, and we're gonna get stuff rolling for 2024, and then we're gonna come back again and just talk on how stuff have how you done grew since now up until later on in 2024. So yeah, we're definitely gonna get together, bro, and do this again. I told you, hey, it's awesome. Good
Yeah,
time, a good time,
yeah.
good time. But man, I totally
I
appreciate
appreciate you
you.
having me on.
Yeah, man, totally appreciate it. And hey, you have a good week, bro. I appreciate you.
All right, man. You too. We'll see
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Mhm. But yeah, y'all. There it go. There it go. There it go. There it goes. That's Mr. Woodley from Ignite Design RC. And a good dude, man. Like you said, trying to He just trying to get the business going and just keep stuff flowing and giving us more options to deal with and just giving us more options to have out there as far as racing. Like we don't have to everybody race the same class. But yeah, good guy, great product. I'm gonna have to check him out myself and maybe get some too. You know what I'm saying? Get me a gas truck. I ain't had one. I know everybody say they what you need to really to learn how to drive and get that throttle control and get that work on your steering but most definitely that's something I'm gonna look into. But yeah, this EKJ 24,000, and I appreciate all the support, y'all. Again, I'm like 15 subscribers away from 1,000 subs. So y'all go to EKJ 24,000 on YouTube and subscribe. Mike Walker, get Trent to subscribe. Mike Walker, go subscribe. I need to get it, because all it's gonna do is just help me develop the show. Help me get Mike Walker back on here again and just talk to him pick his brain about the shock setup that I need on my Miyako, and that Miyako truggy is coming out, so I need Mike's advice on how to get that truggy up to shape, up to par, up to speed. So yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate all y'all giving me that support. Y'all go to EKJ 24,000 on YouTube and smash that subscribe button. Like I said, I'm only 15 away from 1,000 subs. So yeah, EKJ 24,000 again. Thank y'all for all the support. And once I hit that 1,000, y'all know how I do it. You know, it's time to do a giveaway and say thank you back to my supporting RC family. So, but yeah, EKJ 24,000 out. Appreciate you coming in on a weeknight in the RC Lounge. All right, y'all. Hey, have an awesome week. Not just an awesome day tomorrow. Have an awesome week. And we finna go eat this turkey up at the end of the week. So yeah. Hey, this week looking up. We ain't got nothing to be ashamed of this week. We finna go get ready to eat this turkey. If we can't cook no turkey, hey, go buy some turkey. I might have to do that because my mom hurt her hip, pulled a muscle, because she take care of my grandmama. So we might have to go buy a turkey this year. But whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna be. We gonna be all right. We still gonna get full. So yeah, EKJ 24,000 here, RC Lounge Podcast. Y'all stay tuned to that audio upload before the week's out, so we can have something to listen to going to our destinations for Thanksgiving. All right, y'all. EKJ 24,000 out.